So in our country and in the world today, you hear about a lot about this systemic oppression. I'm gonna try to give a little illustration of some of the things that I think were done in our country to systematically advantage certain groups and disadvantage other groups. And it was a specific system, set of rules that was meant to direct things in a certain way, a system. Okay, here's an example. So here's a baseball diamond. Okay, here's a baseball field. Here's a bench. Here's a bench. Here's the wall where they can hit home runs at. Here's the scoreboard up here. So the people that are on this side are allowed to go up to bat. And let's say going up to bat, every time a person goes around, they learn how to read. Every time a person goes around, they're allowed to get a job. They're allowed to own, they're allowed to vote. They're allowed to own property. The people from this side are never allowed to go up. And let's say that happens for a period of almost 300 years, where this side, every child, every boy, every girl, every man, every woman is allowed to freely go up to bat. They're allowed to be educated. They're allowed to own property. They're allowed to vote. They're allowed to build wealth. Everybody from this side. But for 300 years, almost 300 years, or it's legal. It's on the books that no one from this side is allowed to do that. So now look at the scoreboard. Look what's happening here. This side right here is gaining points. That represents this side. This side is not allowed to gain any points because there's a system set up that says they're not allowed to do it. So let's say that this system continues to operate as it has been set up for 300 years. What happens to this side? What happens to this group here? Do they develop more power than this side? Do they develop more education than this side? Do they develop more wealth, more power? Do they own more land? And that was a specific system that was set up to advantage one side and keep one side to disadvantage or keep them in a certain place. And then when we talk about this systemic oppression, systemic racism, that's what I think was happening in our country. And that was a system that was set up that kept one side advantaged and one side disadvantaged. That's just an illustration that I have today. For example, because it was illegal. It was illegal, in fact, to teach, like people from this side, it was illegal to teach them how to read, for example. It was illegal to educate them, teach them how to write. So what happens for 200 or 300 years if one side is allowed to be educated and one side isn't? So this is just an illustration for you today. Hope you let me know what you think, what your comments are, and what you have to say. Give me some feedback. Thanks.